By the way, if you heard water trickling, trying to climb back in here. If you heard water trickling, that's what you've been hearing this whole time. Isn't that cool? Hey everyone, this is Martin, and I titled this video Income, Adventure, and Lifestyle. And I did it for a reason, because if you're ever had wondered why we use this logo here, and whether because our channel is titled The Resort Adventures, I'm going to explain that to you. And if you've ever wondered how in the world you get something like this started financially and keep it going sustainably, I'm going to explain all that to you and do it right now. Okay, so I'm down here in the woods. I found a little spot down by the stream. I was looking for some mushrooms down here because people are finding them around here, but I think it's still a little bit too early right where we're at. Anyway, so to start on the whole subject of the income and the sustainability from a financial point of view of your property, you know, I'm gonna tell you a brief history of our story, how we get started, but I'm really going to go into what I would do if I knew what I was doing, which we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into when we first started. We ended up going down a path we never thought we would go down. But the results of it has been good. If I were to start this from scratch and do it the best way that I know how, it would have been a lot different. And that's what I'm going to kind of explain. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to get you to sign up for anything. I know whenever you start seeing videos about, you know, how to make money here or how to make money doing this or that, that's the first thing is red flags kind of go up saying, what is he trying to sell me? And I'm really not trying to sell you anything. Just trust me, I'm not. This information I'm glad to give out. If there's anything that you could do for me, is if you find any kind of value in this or any good ideas, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and down below here. And trust me, if you think you find anything of value here, a lot of what I believe we're gifted in is learning how to keep things financially sustainable in our projects. So by subscribing, you'll get a lot more of that coming to you. Then you can decide to unsubscribe later if you don't like it. Anyway, so let's get started on this a little bit. Briefly, our story started about 12 years ago, and when we were looking for a cabin or maybe a couple of cabins that we could turn into a private family thing. We wanted to, as a family, go together and get something where we could kind of get away and spend time together and just relax. That happened in the purchase anyway. We found an old broken down resort property that had been in service for years and years and years, and had a few little old cabins on there that none of them were livable. We had to renovate all of them. My wife and I moved a 23-foot travel trailer type camper onto the property and started rehabbing the cabins. A few months into it, when things started looking good around there again, people were stopping in and wanting to rent them. We resisted that for a little while, but then we thought, why not? So we started renting out these cabins. And the first year we were there, we moved onto the property in, I believe it was March or April. And then by October, we had rented our first cabin out. And that first year, we actually made a couple $1,000s doing that. It wasn't near what we spent, but we did actually start creating income that year. The next year it jumped up to probably, I think if I remember right, it was around $12,000. And it has grown steadily. The properties have grown, and the last 3 years we've had properties that had just in the little cabin rentals and the other little things that we've done have generated over $125,000 in income each. So I mean, they've done really, really well. And they still do well for other people. We've sold some of them now. We still have retained the main property that we have that creates that income. It's not here where we're at. It's a few miles up the road here. But that whole idea of doing that is something that really I believe anybody can do. You just have to create a plan for it. Now, I said that I was going to, if I had it to do over again, I would not do it that way. Or if I was starting with nothing, I would not do it that way, the way we did. The way we did it was very haphazard, and it was sort of, you know, when opportunities presented themselves, we did them, but there was no rhyme or reason to it. If I were to do it as a plan, I would take a property and start off with something very, very, very basic that doesn't cost hardly anything to develop, which is primitive campsites. And if I were to start, if we were to have just bought this property here and wanted to start developing an income on it, I would keep the area that we have kind of set aside for our home and our personal stuff over here, and find another part of this property that isn't quite so close to that, and just open up some primitive campsites on it. Probably want to build a shower house, but beyond that, go as primitive as you possibly can. I mean, part of what attracted us to this business of camping and being outdoors was for years when our kids were small, doing the exact same thing, primitive camping, where we hauled in our water, we hauled in our food. We actually built a little primitive outhouse where you know, we would have at least a little bit of privacy for that, and got along just fine. I mean, there are people that would look at that type of a lifestyle and say, ooh, well, who would ever want to go there, much less pay to go and do that? And trust me, there's a lot of people out there that would, and if you had that available, they would come to you. I'm just telling you that they would. If you're the kind of person that says, I don't want people messing around on my property, I don't want them anywhere near me, well, that's fine too. Okay, that just means you have to secure another place, someplace else. And I'm gonna, on this video, there will be a segment that I shot just earlier today up at where we have some of those primitive campsites, and I tell the story in there that when we started that, we did not own that land that we were on. We found someone that was willing to lease that land to us. We actually wanted to buy it, but it was not available. The owners did not want to sell it, but we did talk them into finally leasing it to us. And for 3 years, we cleared the property out, cleaned it up a little bit, and started offering primitive camping there. And I'm out here on one of the campsites that we've taken and sort of cleared off in an area of woods where this land was actually a piece of land that was leased at one time. We leased it from an owner so that we could add some primitive campsites here, and there's really nothing here because it was leased land. We didn't want to put a lot of money into this, so we ended up just clearing out areas in the woods and brought in a picnic table, put a little pedestal on a tree where people could put a camp stove, piled up some rocks in a campfire ring, and that's all we did was just clear it out. And believe it or not, we've got, I don't know, 6 or 8 sites right in this one little area here. It probably takes up a little less than 1 acre of a 3-acre site that we leased. And believe it or not, these few campsites here actually paid for the entire lease cost plus extra for us until we were able to arrange purchasing of this property. So it's just one other thing that you can do. Now, we don't have any water on the sites, we don't have any electricity here. We do have down the road here a little ways a shower house, which if you were going to do something like this, I would recommend having a bathroom and a shower house on site here so that people could at least be able to access some water, clean up, take a shower, go to the bathroom. And but other than that, that's really, there's less than that right here on this site. And people will still come in and just use these things all summer long and into the fall and even into the spring. I mean, we're here in middle of March right now. We don't have anybody here yet, but there will be before the spring is over with. So just one other idea of things that you can do on your property. Now, our cabin is a few miles away from here, so it's so we've graduated from having the lodging guests right on our property versus now having ourselves separated from that a little bit, so that and the money, the income that was earned from that paid for the entire lease and insurances and things like that that went with that lease agreement. And once we were able to go ahead and make that purchase, the income that was generated from those primitive sites still continues to pay for the payment on those things. So there's so many things that you can do, so many options available to you to start creating an ongoing, sustainable, passive income that comes in. It doesn't come in every day, but it will come in every week and every month, and to help sustain financially the things that you want to do on your property. And so getting a handle on the income sustainability of something is paramount in you being able to do what you want to do successfully on your property. If you don't have property yet, that's okay. You can find some, and it's not that hard to find something that allows you to do the kind of things on there that will allow you to build that sustainable income on there. Now, that's not even taking into consideration the things that would normally go with a homestead type of a property, where you have the options for selling produce and whether it's eggs or garden produce or orchard type of produce or something like that. This is all things that you just layer one on top of the other to start creating a base of financial stability on a property. And we just happen to do it with the campsite rentals and the cabin rentals and even the tree house rentals. Yes, we have tree houses, and it's things that really anybody can do. You just have to start out small, and starting small might mean primitive campsites, and then gradually start to improve those. I mean, we're starting to get, I'm going to put a picture of it up here on the video, but we've bought materials to do glamping sites, which are canvas wall tents, very luxury, and they're a huge thing right now. People are paying crazy money, as much as they're paying for cabin rentals, and you wouldn't hardly believe it, but it's true. So what I want to do is leave you with the thought today, anyway, on this video. I want to leave you with the thought that if you have a dream to get off onto your property, whether it's a kind of a traditional homestead or whether it's an off-grid type of a property, or a recreation property like what we kind of started with. I mean, that's why you end up seeing things like that on all of our hats and shirts and all of that. It's the logo from our brand. Okay, but if you want to start that kind of stuff, regardless of what it is, you have to start somewhere, and that starting is what this seems like such a monumental task to do, and it's not as hard as what you think it should be, or could be, or would be. So what you need to do is just wrap your mind somehow around the fact that this is something that I can do. Other people have done it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. You've got to get that attitude to start with. And make sure, again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because this is one of my passions, is to try to get people to understand that you can do this. It's not something that's so far out of reach that you'll never attain it. And what I want to do is on upcoming videos, continue to explore how you take those steps into getting your feet on the land that you want, and make it financially sustainable for you. If that's something that's interesting to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. By the way, if you heard water trickling, trying to climb back in here. If you heard water trickling, that's what you've been hearing this whole time. Isn't that cool? See you next time. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and a share, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. See you next time.